Welcome back. You're still watching VOP this morning. Now to our next story for the day. The call for the sale of Nigeria's refineries has received support from economic and oil experts who believe the plants will perform better under the management of the private sector. On Tuesday, Taiwo-Oyedele, the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, urged Nigerians to demand that the refineries be sold. Oyedele said 10 trillion naira has been spent to maintain the refineries, even though they are still moribund. In 2021, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, employed the services of Tecnimont SPA, an Italian company, to rehabilitate 2 refineries in Port Harcourt at the cost of $1 billion, with a view to beginning production at full capacity by 2025. Now, stay with us. In the studio is Akin Fatunke, and virtually we still have Eze Eloche. So to you, Mr. Akin, what do you make of this?
You are trying to bring coal to Newcastle. You are trying to ask me, and by the way, my background is in oil and gas.
Okay,
I spent the better part of my career life in oil and gas. And this issue that we are talking about is something I guess I know a little bit with the back of my hand. If my professional colleague, Taiwo Oyedele, I hope he's listening, and from my institute, he's just spoken about over 10 trillion between 2010 and now, close to 11, in fact, it's going to 11 trillion. So an average of about 1 trillion, virtually down the hole. I say this advisedly because I know, of course, I have friends who have worked in the refineries, they made careers in the refineries, I've had to interact with them and all that stuff. It's been, unfortunately, a cesspit of corruption that from onset, we knew that we set these sepulchres, that's what the English will call it, big, giant thing, not to function. And it's full of so much corruption. Time will not permit me. But the truth is, when we are talking about, when my friend and my brother, Taiwo Oyedele, and my friend and my brother, Muda Yusuf, made the point that we need to sell. We were there before. When Obasanjo was about to leave, he made a bold attempt to sell, and he actually sold, and money changed hands. The Nigerian Labour Congress and Nigerians, our netizens, all came out and said, no, you cannot sell our assets, and which was a grave error that I think we performed at that time. Now, I also want to tell you that when we set it up, there was an American Secretary of State who was this samurai, okay, I mean, chief executive officer of the ExxonMobil, came to Nigeria, saw President Obasanjo at that time. Obasanjo. And the thing was sealed. They approached ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil said, we are not going to touch this with a long pole. Reason, the refineries that we are talking about is sitting on a bed of oil. Another technical risk element. Nobody from outside will want to come in because we have to first of all do remediation, clean up. Those assets are virtually dead and should be forgotten. They are just like the Nigeria waste and all that.
When you say on a bed of oil, how does that?
We have not been doing remediation. It's like saying that your building and your foundation, which you should be remediating, bad oil, so many other things that is going, you should be siphoning them and cleaning them up and doing. They are all sitting down and they have all been sipping. It's not only when you have spillages. So in all of that area is bad. So we just have assets that are just sitting down. We miss that opportunity. No. If we sell them, the question is who is going to buy? Will Nigerians now come together like Dangote eventually did Dangote. Dangote and Otedola were amongst Nigerians who at that time decided to buy, and they released funds. However, the late Yaradua now changed the whole process. No, so what are we then talking about now? Should we sell them if we can find easy buyers? I even think that they should be sold to the host communities.
Okay.
The host communities are already looking at modular refineries. They are trying to do a couple of it. Can we put it in there with technical input? Now, the Italian
Company.
guys that you mentioned, when this was going on, ExxonMobil was approached, Total International was approached, and all that. The idea was for us to take it one by one. What ExxonMobil did, and this is going to be a surprise to all, is that, look, we are not going to buy this, but for $1. Can you imagine? I'm talking $1. And then I said, no, it's not. They said, because we are going to do remediation, we are going to do a lot of cleaning up, and then finally, again comes back to the fault lines that we have in this country. You take your Europeans there, you take your fellow Nigerians there, people wake up overnight with cutlasses and stuff like that. You must do certain things. If you don't do host community thing, and which the PIA has tried in a way to address. Lady Joy, my dear brother Moses, and Nigerians, we are in dire straits. This is something that we all must come to terms with, that it goes beyond cosmetics. We are in dire straits. We are in quagmire. Is it solvable? Yes, it is solvable. Are we going to have to suffer a little bit more for it? Yes. Do we know people who have been doing this turnaround maintenance? Yes, we know them. Can they be brought to book? Yes, they can be brought to book. Okay. Yes, yes, we know them. We know them in here. All those foreign entities, they've listed out their names. We saw their names. I saw their names at one point in time, including some of our security forces. I tell you, if we are just ready, if we are just going to be very bold, if we are going to be very focused, that is where we are going to get out of this quagmire. But it's going to take a little bit of a time, pure and simple. Oyedele talked about 10 trillion. I have been in that industry for close to 26, in fact, 30 years of my career life, postgraduate, was in that industry. You must multiply that by at least a factorium of 5 that has gone down the drain. It's horrible, it's unfortunate, but we can begin to now then stop, like Dora Akuyili said at one time, raise our hands, accept that this has not been done properly, and then begin to do what we need to do.
All right then. Okay, now Barrister Azudialu-Obiejesi, let's get your thoughts in on this as well, as we will be wrapping this up shortly. Well, I do understand that Barrister Azudialu-Obiejesi has rejoined us virtually to talk about this, but if we have lost communication with him, go ahead, please, Barrister, if you can hear me. All right, Barrister, let me just ask you this straight up question. What do you think is the criteria that should be, looked at for selecting competent people to manage the refineries? All right, I don't think he can hear me. All right, unfortunately, so we have a network problem. Can you please answer that, please?
I can answer it.
Are you audible now?
The criterion, common sense. Will you accept? Will Nigeria accept?
Common sense. Okay.
Common sense yet again.
Yes. Say the truth about the issue and not continue to beat around the bush. I have been in that industry, like I told you, for more than 30 years. We have been lying and relying and doing things. It's just like talking about restructuring.
Why so?
Corruption.
Okay.
Corruption, Moses. If I am taking things without lifting a finger and all that, and you are asking me to reform and all that, do you think it's going to be easy? It has to be taken by force. And that force has to come from the top. We have had situations where we have the Minister of Petroleum in this country that has been the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's an aberration. It shouldn't be. He's not a technocrat. First truth. Second truth is to go back to the ExxonMobil model. ExxonMobil now looked at it and said, I think this is carcass. No, but you don't want to hear that, Moses. You don't want to use a finger and point at your family house and say it's carcass, but carcass is carcass. But you know what? I can come in, and when I can come in, I am going to give you little or nothing. I'm going to give you $1. Go back into the history. If you had taken that at that time, we will have, with our local content and what have you, we had Nigerians, like my dear barrister, who has studied out there, who are technocrats. My friend who was in the upstream was seconded to NNPC. He got to NNPC on this issue of refineries and stuff like that. He nearly lost his life. Because they said, look, if you do not dance to the tune, if you like, whatever it is, a few lost their life. So the truth is that we are in a quagmire. We should say the truth to ourselves. We should find a way, and they are all there. People, unfortunately, Moses, you'll be shocked to your bones. I repeat, you'll be shocked to your bones when they begin to reel out these names. And these names are there, including all the political actors, the National Assembly actors, the people in the military, and civilians, including SANS. We should all come out and say the truth about it. Okay, is there something that you can refund? Are we going to jail you? We don't have enough jails to jail a lot of people. There are so many things I know that if I begin to open my mouth in here, and people who are seeing me will know that what I'm saying is the truth. Don't let us continue to deceive. It's so unfair for Joy. It's so unfair for you that has come decades later to now just continue to look at us and say, what is it? Because if Joy comes on board now, and if you come on board and you decide that, okay, hey, look, what exactly is going to happen? Things will really go about in a dabaru way. Is it lost? It's true. Is it lost eventually? No. Part of the things that is not lost, unfortunately, is the fact that we needed a bold reformer.
Okay.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu came from that industry. I am not in any way saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu's hands are sparkling clean. It can't be. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu perhaps is going to be a William Tell, if you know the story of William Tell, okay? Or Robin Hood, who decides, high time, this must stop, and I'm going to move against the tide. It's not going to be very, very, very easy. So let's say ourselves the truth. I am not trying to throw a kite. Mr. President has decided,
actually.
Mr. President has said that Port Harcourt Refinery is going to come on stream by December. Mr. President, that may be a political statement with additional money going down the drain. That is the truth. Let's face part of the truth. We had a private sector participant in Dangote, and everything started going from left to right and stuff like that. We are missing the dates and the timelines and all that kind of stuff. We are in dire straits. Let's accept the fact that this patient that we are looking at, Moses, is cancerous. When you say a patient is cancerous, that's not the time you are not going to be calling the name of this and stuff like that. Look, put your house in order a little bit so that people who are coming behind you will be able to say of you that you have done and tried your best.
All right.
My position is, if you now then decide that we want to continue to tinker, we didn't tinker with Nigerian Airways, we saw it, it went down, our national pride went down, you know that, very sure. Okay. Our telecoms industry, you know how it went down before the MTN and co on. At the end of the day, from those ashes came out a new vista. Those are the things we need to do. Speak the truth to ourselves, punish those we need to punish, make sure that whatever it is that you have swallowed, you vomit it, you still be alive to it. But a lot of some of these monies, upon trillions, are sitting offshore. That much I know. Can Nigeria retrieve? Can Nigeria recover? Yes.
But it
needs
will take
a
time.
bold reformist.
Okay.
It will take some time. It will take leading by example. It will take, for instance, telling you
Unfortunately,
you cannot be asking me to sacrifice and you are smiling, because I can't see why you should be smiling when I'm sacrificing.
Exactly where I was coming to when when you talked about it taking time, and then you use the illustration of the president being acting like a Robin Hood.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, we are out of time, but I'll just drop this. Robin Hood actually was taken from the rich to give the poor.
Exactly.
But the president has he has established tax measures and things that are taken from the poor actually and given to government. So where is the Robin Hood?
Taiwo Oyedele made a statement, and that's one of the things that is making me to feel right now.
Okay.
The tax reform that we are looking at now is going to tax what we call gifting goods, expensive goods like the glasses that Joy is putting on. It will cost a little bit more. I mean, have a fine wig and all that kind of stuff. It's going to cost.
So they want to tax all of that.
You are going to have to tax all of that and give it out to the poor. You are going to give tax holidays. You are going to make sure that civil servants, take Lagos State as an example, quote and unquote, center of excellence. Why is it that it is at this time now you are not going to be saying that proof of ownership charges and all that kind of does not make sense at all. And then when we now get people who are capable and able to do it, those are the kind of people we should be giving national awards. We can, look, there are low-hanging fruits that needs to be done, but I know where you are going to. And I agree with you 120%. I gave Barrister 110. I'll give you 120%. Mr. President should realize the fact that it can't be, it can't be the usual thing for himself, for his family, his wife, his children, and through persuasion to the subnational states and local government, we must find something to put on the table and not continue to say labor, labor, labor. They can understand. What are you going to put down? Don't come and tell me that this is the time you are going to be buying bulletproof vehicles and stuff like that. I'm not starting about it at all.
I think my colleague has a question, so we'll just let her ask it and then we'll wrap up.
I think Joy is going to be very harsh with her question because I use her glasses as an example. Okay.
No, I wouldn't do that. All right, Mr. Akin. Given that, okay, it has been established, they want the refineries, to be, sold to the private sector. Now, how would the transition, the transition process of this be? Would it be smooth? I mean, what would it entail generally?
It won't be smooth. I went through it. Okay. I will not buy something that I know is a contraption and that I'm going to be in trouble. I will not put my money, and you are looking for substantial amount of money into an asset that I know is being worn down, torn, and the good things about them have been siphoned and stolen. So I have to first of all sit down and we do evaluation. And the kind of valuation I'm going to give to you because you want to sell will turn your tummy. I just told you that when it happened the other time, they said, well, I will buy it for $1. Because I still have a lot of money to have to spend in there. I am not only going to do that, for me to revamp and all that, I now look downstream. I use the word at the onset. I look downstream. If I make, with my cost of production, cost of doing business, with bribery and corruption and so many other things, to put in all those costs, the cost of fuel will not be 900. The cost of fuel will be maybe 2,000, 3,000. Will I now, in all honesty, now then say that is what I want to buy? There is a hard take. Unless if you have somebody who has stolen so much money and we know them, can we persuade them, bring that money, and then put it into that refinery, not for the sake of making profit at that now. It's just going to be, look, for social service. But businessmen and women don't always want to do that. My prescription will just be, yes, when you are in a marsh, when you are in a hole, stop digging. What we seem to be doing is continue to dig.
All right,
One, you are not going to get out, you dig in deeper.
You go deeper.
Let's look at it very practically.
Okay.
Are there certain things that we can get from those refineries that can help some of the Dangote or whatever it is? If not, if you put a technocrat, my friends are talking about technocrats. I know technocrats who have gone in there, they barely came out and said, you know the reason? Because the man at the top, the man that calls the shots, himself or herself or themselves are somehow compromised. Okay. But if you decide that you are not going to compromise and they are going to stand by you and all that kind of stuff, like we have, I must say, I'm sorry, I have to draw this parallel, like we have in the central bank right now, with the political will to stand behind Obaze, to do some of the things Obaze is doing. I don't know if you know the many threats that are going on there.
All right,
and I say, I'm going to stand by you. We'll be able to now get
we'll have to wrap it up.
It is possible
at this point,
but we have to be structured and direct.
Be structured and direct.
I believe in Nigeria it can work.
All right. Yes, we all believe in Nigeria. I mean, it's the only country that
we have.
Yes. So we believe in Nigeria. We must say a very big thank you to you, Akin Fatunke, for staying with us on the program, and we totally appreciate your contribution on the program, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you very much. Bless you.
And also, big thanks to Barrister azudialu-obiejesi for his contributions as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have business, entertainment, and sports. Stay with us.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP This Morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports, and even entertainment. Join us weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning